Hello, guys, and welcome back to the Camera64 Podcast. And I am your host, Alfonso Chavez. And as always, we're coming to you from sunny San Antonio, Texas, from here in my garage, guys. What an awesome day. Today is Tuesday. I think we're it's October 21st. And I just decided to jump in here real quick and get a video going. So what I want to talk about today? Well, guys, I want to talk about the fact that photography just has not been good to me of late. I don't know if anybody else is going through the things that I'm going through, but being that I've been a photographer for 20 years now, I'm kind of seeing the writing on the wall, guys, and it's not good for me anymore. It's just people call, but nobody's willing to pay the price that I charge. And the question, I guess, for myself is, do I want to continue? Do I want to lower my price to be more competitive? And to be quite honest, the answer would be no. And the reason why is because, see, everybody starts photography for different reasons, right? Some people genuinely, when you hear people say, I love it, it's my hobby, right? Or I love it because it's my passion. And I get all of that, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. By no means, I don't want you to take what I'm about to say that way. But for me personally, me and my wife had a business that went under. Okay, not by any fault of our own, but it was actually due to one of our employees. Right, there was a situation. We ended up getting sued, and we ended up losing everything, guys. We had to go through bankruptcy. It was a horrible thing, and if you want to hear more about that, maybe I'll go a little bit more into that. But the fact is, we ended up losing everything. Okay, and being that I had a lot of experience in videography right here, as well as photography, which is what I took in college as part of a communications major. Right, that's what I was going for. I want to be in TV and radio. That was always something I wanted to do, even at a young age, right? It was something that I told my wife, I said, I can get back into photography. It's something that I know. I don't have to go back to school for it or anything like that. I just got to spend the money. And so after everything was said and done with the business, and we ended up closing down, and there was a little bit of return money. There was money at the end after the bankruptcy was all done and all that. We ended up getting some money at the end. I think it was like 25 or 30,000. I don't remember the exact amount anymore. But I took a huge leap of faith, right? And I went out and I bought a whole bunch of photography gear. And my whole idea was not a passion or anything like that. It was strictly for the idea that I needed to make money, and I just didn't know how to do it. I knew that if I went to go work at a regular 9 to 5 job, that I would in no way be able to get us back to the lifestyle that me and my wife and my children had grown accustomed to, right? And so photography was a way or an avenue for me to move forward and pass, right? And I took a leap of faith, and it was very hard in the beginning, right? The first 6 to 8 months was extremely difficult, guys. If you've ever started a business and put down $25,000-$30,000 into something, you know that it can be nerve-wracking. I know that I've heard many stories of people who have put down, $5,000 on a camera and a lens and maybe a flash, and they find it extremely difficult. Well, I spent a whole lot more than that, right? Because my idea at the time was what happened in 2000, it was around 2006, 2007. Digital photography was really taking off. I mean, it had started in around 2003, 2004. Even though I wasn't a photographer at that time, I was always following the photography gear, right? Because I was just always interested in it, always drawn to it. Because my grandfather was a big time. He really enjoyed videography, and he loved taking pictures of us when we were kids and stuff like that. So it was just something I just enjoyed following. I followed the story, even though I didn't have a camera at the time or anything like that. But I was always drawn to the fact that, you could take a picture, print it, and sell it. And to me, in my mind, the way I saw it, being the entrepreneur that I am, I said, man, that's almost like printing your own money, right? We always hear that term, but for me at that time, that's how I sold it to my wife. I said, hey, we're going to take this money, I'm going to invest in this printer, I'm going to invest in this camera, and we're gonna take pictures of kids, and we're gonna print them, and we're gonna sell them on site. And that's what we did. That's how I got started. And it was difficult, like I said, those first 6 to 8 months, only because we didn't have a client list. We had an idea, but we just didn't know who to present the idea to, right? And that's where I found myself. And so I said, well, I got to get out. I got to get on the phone. I got to get in front of people, and present what it is that we do and all this. And I went about, and that's exactly what I did. I got them in person when I could. I would go out to the fields during practice and let them know, hey, we do team pictures, we can do buttons, we can print pictures on site. And some of them bit and some of them didn't. And then of course I got it the old school way, right? I'd pick up a phone and call people, and I'd create a list of teams in my area from everything: CYO, Taifa, Najif, Pony, any kind of youth, CYO. So at some point or another, we have done all those organizations here in San Antonio at some point or another. Some of those organizations are great to work with. Others were not great to work with. They were actually horrible to work with. In the beginning, a lot of them were really eager to have you there. They enjoyed having you there, and they really didn't ask you for much. Some of them would ask you for, a 10% cut or something like that, or some of them as high as 15. And it was like that for years, and that really saved us. It allowed us to be able to show up, take our pictures, print, provide buttons and other stuff too. We did posters and shirts for a while, and it was fantastic. It was great. But slowly, what started happening as the years rolled by is those organizations started asking for more and more and more. And by the time I knew it, some of them were asking for, they wanted 30%. Some of them wanted 35%. Some of them wanted an upfront cost plus 35%. Some of them wanted you to pay per age group. And so the fees were just getting way out of hand. It was getting out of control. And at the same time that it was getting out of control with fees that they were asking us for, people with their cell phones started taking pictures with their cell phones and decided that, hey, that's good enough. So the cell phone actually did kill off team pictures for myself. Now there's other photographers out there, and I'm friends with some of them here in San Antonio still to this day, and they do okay, or they do great, right? The problem is that the best way to put this is that some of those organizations that we would shoot would have anywhere between 500 and 700 kids. So we used to shoot 600 kids in a weekend, and we might get 500 orders, which is fantastic, right? So even though we might be making a small amount off of each child, there were so many of them that it actually worked itself out to where we were making a pretty good profit, a really good profit, to be quite honest. But as the years went by, and 2004, it was 2007, 2008, 2009, but I would say around 2013 or so, we had dropped to like a quarter. So if we would shoot 600 kids, we might get 200 orders. Now that's a lot of work to shoot 600 kids and only get 200 orders. So we had to work like 3 or 4 times as much in order to get a quarter less, or half as much orders, or a third of what we used to get before. And then aside from that, we used to do online sales as well. So we did action photography, where we would take the pictures, post them online to our website, and parents would order the pictures from the website, and we used to make a nice chunk of money that way. So we were making money off the actual team pictures. We would make money off the action pictures. And then on game day, sometimes we would actually go out to different organizations and make buttons. And that also was awesome because that was another revenue. So there was a lot of ways to make money, a lot of different revenues. And when you would add them all up, I made some pretty darn good money, I have to say, in those days. And it paid off royally for myself. And it was at a time when we absolutely needed to have it that way. So photography for me has always been about making money, and the fact that right now, I talked about it in the last video, Honeybook just sent me a message to let me know that my sales for October are down 75%. I said 80% in the last one because I just kind of saw it. I didn't actually open it, but I opened it earlier today to make sure, and we're down 75% just from last year. And last year's notification was 50% from the year before. So what, we're at about 12% or 15% of just 2 years ago. Now, I'm a pretty good photographer, I have to say. I'm not going to sit around and wait for anybody to tell me that I'm not good. I'm definitely a good photographer. I can handle any situation. We shoot with the best gear, I think, available for us right now, which is Canon. We shoot Canon R6 Mark IIs, and we provide a good product. It's always high quality, delivered fast, presented nicely, and we also offer products like books, online websites. We also do custom posters. We do a whole bunch of other stuff, right, to make the entire experience for the customer top notch, right? Even the way we present ourselves with Honeybook. Our contracts are made through Honeybook, and if you've ever done a contract with us, you know how it's beautifully laid out. It reads nice and easy. I took the time to set all that up, and it works nice. It works really good, and we get compliments from the people that do hire us. They always let us know that our contract's amazing. I mean, how many times I've heard that is it's high up there. But the thing is that all that comes at a cost, right? Honeybook cost me about $50 a month, right? So that's just one cost. So that's why I can't bring down my prices, because if I bring down my prices, I have to give some stuff up, right? So I'm just going to go over a real quick list of some of the things that I do I consider myself to be a true professional, right? And I provide professional services, and so I want to make sure that we look professional in every aspect, from the website. So a website costs me about $75 a month to run. We use professional editing equipment, Lightroom and Photoshop, and Premiere Pro for our videos. So that costs about $60 a month, right? We use Honeybook for our contracts, which is another $60 a month. Okay, we use Dropbox to back up everything. So everything I've shot since around 2013 is right at my fingertips, right on my phone. I can go to it on my phone, and I can pull up, just by a name or by a date, I can pull up my entire catalog. It's all cataloged for me through my Dropbox account. Okay, so I have Dropbox set up, and it allows me to back up everything. So not only do I have the photos here on my computer at home, but I also have it backed up to Dropbox. And that's real important, because sometimes you get clients who 3 years later, out of the blue, hey, I'm so-and-so's mom, and you did our quinceañera 3 years ago, and I lost my thumb drive. Can you send me out a new link? And I say, yeah, I can do that. And I charge them a small fee, like $50. They pay me the $50. I immediately send them a link, and it's a godsend for them, guys. That's another service. But again, that $50 that I collect from them only covers 2 months of me actually having that service. So Dropbox charges me about $32 a month with taxes. Okay, and then of course that you got to have a nice computer, right? I just bought a new computer at the start of this year, because my older Alienware was getting old and long in the teeth, and as computers get older, they tend to slow down. Even though you can install a new Windows, but what happens is the software becomes more bloated and it needs more power to run the software. Period. I mean, it's just going to happen, right? So even though that Alienware was maxed out and I spent about close to $4,000 for it, gosh, almost 5 years ago now at this point, it's old. When it comes to technology, it's old. And so I had to replace it. And my new computer, again, another $3,500. And not only that, but I got to keep all my cameras up, right? If I drop a camera, luckily for you, if it has never happened to you, trust me, as a working professional, you are going to drop gear. I hear people, oh, I take care of it, man. I really take care of my stuff. Yeah, I do too. Guess what? You drop stuff. I've dropped my 70-200 I don't know how many times. My son has dropped my 70-200 a couple of times. And I'm sure my daughter-in-law, now that she's working with us, she will eventually at some point drop that camera. It's going to need to be serviced, period. Buttons stop working. Card readers not working. Where you insert your cards into your camera, they stop working sometimes. There's all kinds of issues that come up. You have to send it off to Canon, and every time it comes back, the bill's always $200 plus. I don't think I've ever gotten a bill for less than $200. So the point is that there is a monthly cost for everything that we do as a professional, right? My monthly cost probably for our business is probably around 250 maybe a month. So if somebody calls me and asks me to do a wedding for $500, how am I supposed to pay myself? How am I supposed to maintain all the services required in order to bring a client a really good experience? It's very difficult, wouldn't it be? Don't you think? I guess what I'm saying is the math doesn't math, like the young kids say today, right? The math is just not mathing, and it's true. The whole point is that right now, if you're trying to be competitive at a competitive price and you're trying to really bring a good product to market, which is what we try to do, you can't do it for $500. You can't shoot a wedding for $500. You just can't do it and make a turn a profit. There's just no way. The average wedding for us, and I consider us to be fast turnaround, it takes about 65 to 55 hours more or less. And that's from the moment that they call me until the moment that we actually finish the project, deliver it, and consider it done and archived in our Dropbox. It takes around 55 hours. Those 55 hours in general are spread out over about usually a 3-week period. So you tell me, $500, right? And it takes me 1 month to get that project in and out, and I have $250 in costs. I haven't even paid myself yet. It's the gig economy all over again. You might as well be driving for Uber because you're going to make about as much, right? Uber drivers in general, I think the latest total was, I think Uber drivers, after they take out all their expenses, gas, oil changes, tires, and all that stuff, plus their actual time out there on the road, I think they're making like $250 an hour or something like that. When you hear gig economy, that's what it's going to, right? Photographers are working, some of them for $2 or $3 an hour. I don't know about you, but I think I would much rather be at home with my family doing something else. Things are tough. Things are crazy right now, and I do care a lot about photography, and I also do care a lot about the clients as well. I want to give them an excellent experience, but I got to be fair with myself, and I got to be fair with my family and my wife as well, because she's in the other room, right? She wants to spend time with me. She would rather spend a Saturday evening out with me for sure, versus me shooting a wedding, basically as a welfare photographer. But what are your thoughts, guys? What are you going through? Are you experiencing some of this stuff? Are you a new photographer? And if you're a new photographer, right? I mean, let's just say you bought a $2,000 camera and you bought a $2,000 lens and a $1,000 flash. You're $5,000 in. So just do the math. How many events are you gonna have to do in order to pay that off? $5,000. You're gonna have to do 10 events. I think I've only done 10 events in this entire year. So that means you'll be working an entire year only to pay Canon back for your camera that you bought and lens. You're not going to be turning any profit at all, probably till probably year 3 if you're lucky. So I'm not downing people, guys. That's not what this is about. I just want you to think about it the way I think about it and realize that, hey, is this really worth it in 2025? Who am I competing with? Is it worth it? Because I'm definitely thinking that maybe it's no longer worth it. Now, I love teaching people, so I will be on here. Like I said, I am dedicated now to this channel, and I want to teach people, but I also want to let you know the facts, right? These are the facts. Go look it up. How much does a photographer make in 2024? I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. Now, I know that there's outliers. Obviously, there's always that exception to the rule, but those exceptions to the rules are usually like the top 1 or 2%. That's it. The other 99% are making just what you're going to find out in Google when you Google that and ask, what does a photographer make in 2024? So that's my talk for today, guys. I hope you're enjoying this. If you are, give me a thumbs up. If you have anything that you would like my opinion on as a 20-year photographer, just go down there in the comments. It's somewhere down there. I don't know where it's at, but it's down there somewhere. Just leave a comment. Ask the question, right? I'll be more than happy to answer that question for you, whether it's deciding on a camera, lens, deciding what kind of photography to go into. Should I do it all? I got opinions on all that. But that's my show, guys. If you're not subscribed and you want to see somebody try and grow a channel from scratch, then yeah, subscribe and watch me do this. I'm gonna try and get this done, right? Like I said, I'm happy I gained some subscribers. I'd like to gain a few more, so if you want to help me out, just go down there. I think it's on this side. You hit the subscribe button for me, and we'll catch you in the next video. But that's been my video, guys. My name is Alfonso Chavez. I'm the owner-operator of Camera64. If you want to visit our website so you have some reference as to who I am and what I shoot, it's www.camera64.com. And you have a great evening, and we'll catch you in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.